Healthy Chats Community Interest Company came about as a result of being asked to do some training for the social care sector, and we suddenly realised there was a layer of people that were getting no training in physical activity that really would need it, and this was the non-targeted audience from the champions' point of view, so social prescribers, social care workers, social workers, and anybody else in between. So developed a package under my own name at that point as a pilot, and we trialled it and saw what happened. And also in the meantime, the We're Undefeatable teams of Bolsover also realised that I was doing this training and asked me to work with them. And it was actually then that Healthy Chats CIC was born. So we were conceived in Mansfield and born in Bolsover is how I like to think about us. And me and a group of friends decided that we could set up a company with the help of Bolsover CVS, who just really made it so easy to become a community interest company, which was fantastic. I trained to be a physio when I was a single mum, and I lived in Nottingham at the time, so became a physio, and haven't looked back since then in that role. Really enjoyed that. But then recently realised that actually because of my own condition, began to realise how important the messages about physical activity were to people, particularly those with a long-term condition such as the one I had. So I have an autoimmune disease that really wiped me out. When I was really poorly, me getting ready to go out took me an hour to have a shower, get downstairs and maybe have some breakfast. Getting somebody to do that, giving them an hour's rest and then taking them out for coffee all constitutes as physical activity. And when you break physical activity down into components that are everyday language, people get it. It's actually not about putting your Lycra on and going to the gym. It's much, much more about just moving a little bit more every day. From a workforce training perspective, this is really where Healthy Chats has come in. And I didn't ever really think about that for We're Undefeatables until I sat on, the sort of group for Mansfield and realised actually there was an issue there about that. And that legacy, because Healthy Chats has come out of that, I feel very strongly that it's actually done a really good thing. If all else fails, we've got to that point where we're actually beginning to talk to people about delivering that message. I think one of the most pleasing things was when somebody reported that as a non-healthcare professional, they feel much more confident about talking about physical activity, because it's almost like it's perceived to be something that you have to know technical detail about. And of course it isn't. And it was really interesting to see the range of different people's activity after being on the training. They changed their own physical activity level. They realised that boogieing in the kitchen is physical activity, that they could promote putting a bit more water in a kettle and lifting it as strength training. In my champions, the physical activity clinical champions work, we have one slide in there that looks at the number of occasions it takes for a conversation to get across about smoking, for instance, which is something like you need 100 conversations and it takes 12 conversations for somebody to increase their physical activity level. And I sort of talk to people in terms, if you can be one of those 12, you begin to illustrate to people why it's so important and why they can make a difference. And even if 10% of their client group take up 10% more physical activity, doing 10 minutes more a day, wow, what an achievement. That would be a win as far as Healthy Chats is concerned.